Yo, what's going on, my psychedelic squadron? It's your boy Trippy here, coming at you with another Madden 19 video today, man. And as you can see on the screen, your boy's on Mudhead right now. So we're gonna go ahead and look at the new legends that just so happen to be Otto Graham, who makes his return to Madden Ultimate Team. I can't even remember the last time he was in Mud. But then we have Mel, I don't even know what to call him, Blount. I have mixed feelings about him, and I'm still kind of making my mind up on like what he should be perceived as at this point in Mud. And then we have CJ2K, arguably one of the, if not one of the fastest player to ever play in the NFL. Yes, that is a bold statement, but it just might be true. But first things first, we're gonna go ahead and get into the overalls and all that good stuff. Of course, he's 95 overall. Legends that come out are 95. LTDs are 96. Looking at Mel Blount's stats, the dude's got an atrocious 90 speed. Now, at some point, Madden 90 speed would have been amazing. But if you're looking at his stats compared to other cornerbacks, they're just a little lackluster. 95 zone coverage is pretty decent. You can get him to a 99, powering him up and all. But 91 man coverage, like, just looking at numbers, that's not really a whole lot. But like his run support stats aren't really that bad. If we go to upgrade, you get in more detail of those things. So if you go to the defensive stats, his tackling is a 73, his hit power is an 82, which is actually pretty decent for a cornerback. Block shedding is a 68, and his finesse move is a 65. Press, of course, is pretty decent. Still feel like that should be a little bit high when you have plays like this that's popping up on the screen right now. And you know, his hit power, I feel like should be pretty up there. You know, just due to hits like this. Well, that one's not really kind of a hit, but you kind of understand what I couldn't find too many gifs. Like it's just impossible to find gifs of someone that old. But either way, his man coverage is low. His play rec, his pursuit, yeah, that's all good. Zone coverage is really high. Of course, that's his best quality. But the 90 speed, really hard to get over, man. But I personally don't see anybody really using this card unless you're running some sort of Steelers theme team or you have like crazy chemistry boost. My advice to you is to personally stay away from this card until his price drops. Get him and use him for training. But if I were to compare him to a card, it would have to be 95 overall Richard Sherman. They're both the same body stature, both around the same speed range. The only difference between Sherman and Blount is a little more physical in the run game than Richard Sherman is, and then Sherman is more prone to get those ball hawking interceptions. So he's more of a ball hawk, and Mel Blount's more of that get in your face, get real grimy, and get in the backfield kind of guy as well. When you look at their stats, of course, Sherman used to be a wide receiver in high school. I think it was college, excuse me. Used to be a wide receiver in college, so surprisingly his route running stats are ass. But his catching stats, his run out there, the catch stats are pretty decent. His stamina, his jumping, his catching, his awareness, all of those things are better, which is, I think, is crazy. If you're going to be a legend, like typically legends have like really high play recognition and things of that nature. But a lot of those stats are pretty good. Mel Blount definitely has the block shedding advantage, the pursuit advantage, all of those things, the tackling advantage. Press does go to Sherman though, but I still don't see how. I personally don't see how when you literally had the 5-yard bump or the illegal contact rules because of Mel Blount. Like Mel Blount changed the game. Like literally, they should just call them the Mel Blount rules. As far as like pass interference and things along those lines, it was created because of Mel Blount. But nonetheless, before I go on a huge rant about the past, looking at their player traits, they're both clutch. They both have high motors. Neither one of them do bull rush, spin moves, into that. But Mel Blount is labeled as a big hitter, and Sherman isn't. But strip balls, they both do that, and they both play the ball aggressive in the air. So honestly, if you're gonna pick up Mel Blount, I would definitely do it like after this week, maybe wait a week or two, and his price should be somewhere in that 380K range, because with Sherman being out, one of two things is going to happen. There's such similar players that one price is going to fall, one is going to stay about the same, or one is really, going to elevate the other. I highly anticipate that Blount is going to drop to that Richard Sherman range, and Sherman might stay a little bit above Mel. So stay on the lookout for his price to drop, and make sure that you go ahead and use him for the training when that time comes available. But, it's all cool to compare the two, but let's see what Sherman thinks about all of this. Yeah, I kind of figured. Let's go ahead and get into the next player. The next player is actually going to be, like I said earlier, Mr. Otto Graham. Automatic is what they used to call him, which is ironic. He's got 81 speed, 83 acceleration, 82 agility, which I personally think is fucking him over. But, I don't make these cards. 92 throw power, 90 throw short, 90 throw mid, 93 throw deep, 93 throw on the run, 82 play action, which is kind of low. 88 break sack. He has a 90 fucking trucking. Yes, my man. What he said. That is insane for a quarterback to have that. What's his carrying?
It's right here, Idjit.
I feel like 85. 85 carrying is not bad for a quarterback, but I wouldn't go trying to truck nobody. But honestly, there really isn't too many quarterbacks that have 81 speed and really decent passer stats to compare him to. So I had to go ahead and compare him to Andrew Luck. Zero chill version, of course. When you look at his stats, his physical attributes actually go to Andrew Luck. Awareness does go to Otto Graham, but everything else basically goes to Otto Graham. I mean, Andrew Luck shouldn't be running no routes, but his route running is apparently higher. His throw short is higher. Every other passing stat, except for play action, does go to Otto Graham, though. Play rec doesn't really matter. Those are defensive stats. When we get to the character traits, though, they both throw tight spirals. Otto Graham, I can't say whatchamacallit, but Otto Graham is definitely trigger happy. I remember looking at some of his highlights on NFL Network when they were doing like top 100 players of all time. Definitely in the top 20 for sure. Throws ball away. He was a gunslinger back in those days, and passing was a lot different these days. So I do see him not really doing that, but none of these necessarily matter too much because you're controlling him. But if you were like going against him in a solo challenge, that's where these things would happen. So player traits for a quarterback really aren't that much needed, except for this one right here, clutch. I feel personally that does make some sort of difference in key situations in the game. But now that we got Otto Graham out the way, let's get into who is possibly the most, I'm not going to say anticipated, but we get one every year. Didn't expect it to be this way, but we got a CJ2K limited time card in the game, man. As you can see, he has a 98 overall elusive back. Definitely not known for his trucking, but there's only one stat you really have to look at. 96 speed, and that literally says it all, man. This is what CJ2K is all about. Definitely a burner, man. If you don't know, I think holds the fastest time in the 40-yard dash, or no, he actually got beat by John Ross. So he has the second fastest time in NFL Combine history, but definitely his game speed is somehow faster than his actual 40-yard dash time, as hinted at by this run right here and this one right here. So it's a little awkward to see a guy who really only had one really solid season. But when you think of Bo Jackson, Bo Jackson was, I think his career basically ended on injuries. So to see Bo Jackson get those type of cards, or all the love that he's getting in Madden, and then CJ2K to come in here, he has had a better career statistically than Bo Jackson, and so it's only right that you put a CJ2K in the game. He's basically been a staple in Madden's at the peak of its existence back in, I think it was 2010 I want to say somewhere in that range. Oh, 2009, I think that was the year that he actually ran for the 2,000 yards. So, definitely cool to see a fresh face in the game as a legend card, and I hope they continue to use him in the future. But there's only one person that you can compare Chris Johnson to, and that has to be none other than Barry motherfucking Sanders. If you look at the pie chart right here, or whatever this is actually called, do not judge me. But they're both 96 overalls, but the speed advantage goes to Chris Johnson +1. But if you power Barry up, you can't power Chris Johnson up at the moment. They might go ahead and throw something along those lines in this set later on. For a power-up card later on. But the catching goes to CJ2K for some strange reason. Jumping does. And another weird thing is that his route running stats are actually really, really good. 81 short route running. You got medium route running at a 73 and his deep route running at a 73. His catching traffic is not that good. Spec catch. His release is okay for a running back. Excuse me, that was my phone. But I think this is actually this might be more of a receiving back than almost any other card in the game. And then coupled with that speed, that's insane, bro. You put him on a streak over the middle, a wheel route, nobody's catching him. Nobody is catching him. He is a nightmare on pitch plays and things along those lines. But I'm actually excited to see CJ2K. You'll never see him on my team unless, something crazy happens and I actually pull him. But it's actually pretty dope to see that. Is he better than Barry? Fuck no. I'm sorry. I'm just going to put that out there. He is not better than Barry fucking Sanders. It's just not. It's not happening. But all in all, still a really good card. My final overall thoughts, though, as far as like Mel Blount, I really have mixed feelings about him. I really don't know exactly what to think so far. If you were to ask, is he worth picking up? Nah, honestly, no. Unless you get him somewhere in that Jack Tatum price range, fuck no, I wouldn't even touch him. The speed is something that's a little difficult to get over. He will help you in that kind of cover 2 area, though. If you run a lot of cover 2, that is definitely your man, because if he's not going deep, you don't have a problem with him. But if he's going to be that guy that controls over the top, nah, you're going to want another guy, Chief. Autogram, honestly, I wouldn't really mess with Autogram too much. His passing stats are cool and all, but 81 speed, when you got linemen and defensive linemen faster than that, sometimes things are just covered and you need to make a play, and that when you got defensive tackles chasing you, that might not be the best thing to do. And last but certainly not least, Chris Johnson, aka CJ2K. If I could get him, I would definitely keep him on the team, but if I were to pull him, them coins look a hell of a lot better than this, and then you can just use those coins to power Barry Sanders up. So it would probably be a little more beneficial to go this route than this route. But all in all, there are 3 really solid cards in the game right now, and it definitely could be worse. But like I said, this will be the end for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed, go ahead and hit that like button, man. Hit the subscribe button. 2-piece those mofos. It'll help the channel grow tremendously. Also, let me know down below what you guys think of these new legend cards that were dropped into the game, man. Are you going to be possibly picking maybe a Mel Blount or an Autogram up? Let me know down below. Subscribe for more Madden 19 content such as this. And until next time, fellas, peace.